Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Dragon Ball Super Dragon Stars Piccolo figure. And again, just like I said in Frieza, I'm not personally collecting these, but I know a lot of you guys do, and a lot of you are probably looking for an alternative to the Comic-Con exclusive Piccolo in the anime colors, so that's why I'm reviewing this for you guys. It's definitely not on par with the Figuarts figure, but it could be a placeholder for the time being while we're waiting for a new Piccolo, which needs to happen in the SH Figuarts line. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just under 6.5 inches, which makes him just about 16.5 centimeters, and it's not bad looking overall. It has the same general aesthetic as you would expect from this line so far, which is just shy of SH Figuarts levels. If you want to see a quick comparison for size, this is obviously the Piccolo we're reviewing, and then we have our SH Figuarts Piccolo, and they are relatively the same height. SH Figuarts is slightly taller because I have his knees bent right now, but this one's a little bulkier, so it's close enough, I guess. And then if you want to see what he looks like up against Piccolo, because that's not against Piccolo, against Goku, because that makes more sense than comparing him to another figure that you wouldn't have him on display with. It's not a bad scaling, actually. That's about right for Piccolo. Maybe he should be a little bit taller still, which is what I'm hoping for in the Figuarts line when they redo him. But scaling wise, it's good enough. It'll do okay if you want to replace him or use him to be a spot filler in your Figuarts collection, size wise. Otherwise, we have other things to talk about. The paint jobs are fairly clean. You can see the pink is pretty saturated, which is nice, and it's actually kind of an improvement over the Figuarts one. The red lines are pretty well done. The paintwork around the torso is clean. The legs look all right. There's no shading on it, and he is fairly shiny, which is kind of unfortunate. Didn't have that much of a problem with that on Frieza, so that's kind of a bummer. And then his face, it's definitely not as good as it could be, but it's not terrible. The paintwork's okay, but his antennae are a little chunky. Not the best look for him, so that's kind of a bummer. And then we do have pretty ugly articulation for the knees. So aesthetically speaking, this guy's only going to get a, let's call it a 7.5 out of 10, because it is still only a $20 price point, so it's better than most figures at that point, and so I guess that's okay. As far as accessories go, we have 2 fist hands, 2 relaxed or grappling hands, whatever you want to call them, and then 1 special beam cannon hand, so that's pretty good. Nothing special though, no pun intended. So we're going to give the accessories a 6 out of 10. That's fine. Not great, but fine. And now it's time for the articulation. Well, it's okay. The head is on a ball peg, but it doesn't really want to move. All I can do is rotate it around. So that's pretty limited. The neck is also on a ball peg, but it also doesn't really want to move. Doesn't want to do anything but rotate. So unless they change it, because I can't see inside, so I'm assuming they're on ball pegs like every other figure I've seen from this line. It seems like it just doesn't work well. Now here's something they did that I really like. The shoulder part, and I've been saying this for forever now, not really, but for a while, this is how Figuarts needs to do it too. Look at this. See how the clothing rotates with the arm? Doesn't have a great range here because it's only a $20 figure, but you don't end up with gapping and stuff. So the hinge goes underneath and it functions just fine. You have your ball hinge right here, but when you rotate the arm, the socket itself rotates and it keeps the kind of short sleeve shirt thing looking way better. It's similar to how they do on the figure eyes, which is how they should do on Figuarts as well. So the ball hinge shoulder works nicely, bicep swivel's fine, double jointed elbow is pretty good, not too much better than 90 degrees unfortunately. Ball hinge wrist works nicely, no diaphragm joint, just a waist joint, which is a ball peg. It gives you plenty of rotation, of course. Leaning it's there. It's not a ton, but it's there, so that's okay. This is a floating piece. Now the hips are really ugly and not great. If you tuck them all the way up, it's not terribly noticeable, but once you start to use them, it is. You have a hinged ball peg down here for the crotch, which is okay, but it's very small and very recessed, so you end up with a lot of gapping here, and you still don't get great range. Going out to the sides is okay, but going forward is garbage. It doesn't work well. Going back is about the same, so it's all the way down too. It just really doesn't work well. It's really only good for splits. You do have a thigh swivel, so that's okay. And now we have the knees, which is a double jointed knee, and it is atrocious. It is really bad. You really only get the hinge down here at the bottom, and it's ugly. It is incredibly ugly. It looks good on the back, considering, but on the front, it is just terrible. Atrocious grossness. bad. And you only get a little bit less than 90 degrees out of it, so that is not great. And then for the ankles, you get a ball hinge, which is kind of cool. It works pretty well, but since the boots stick up kind of high, it doesn't work that well, but it works well enough. So you get a little bit of an ankle rocker out of it, a little bit of range going forward. Actually, not too bad range at all going forward and back. It's all right, so not too bad. So all in all, the articulation on this guy is like half good and then half terrible. So I'm only gonna give it, I shouldn't say half terrible. It's like 3/4 good and 1/4 terrible. So, and he's kind of loose. He's floppy in some places. That's what she said. So I'm gonna give him only a 6 out of 10 for articulation. So ultimately, it'll be an okay placeholder, I guess. For 20 bucks, it's not too much to complain about, really. But it's definitely not anywhere close to a substitute for the SH Figuarts figure. If you have one, you don't need to buy this one. And if you really don't want to buy that one, but want a Piccolo in dark purple, then this is a decent enough option, I guess. You can tell it's significantly lower quality, probably because the money went into going into Frieza. So I'll give it to him. I'll give him a little bit of credit there. But all around, yeah, I'm only going to give this figure a 7 out of 10, only because I'd give it a lower score, but it has a low price point, so, and decent paints and some other things going for it. So 7 out of 10 seems fair, but yeah, I can't recommend it if you're already collecting the Figuarts and don't actually need it. You don't want to buy this. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, I have thousands of other reviews just waiting for you to watch. I have playlists for Dragon Ball, playlists for imports, playlists for just about everything. So make sure you check that out. And I do have new videos up just about every single day, so make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.